talking about. Juste, je vais monter le son dans mes oreilles. Possible que tu ne vois rien à l'écran. Voilà. Fond de balle. Fond de balle, m'amène. On en était aux bouteilles contenant les résidus d'une substance inconnue. Ah oui, on avait fini dans la chambre de Violet Holmes, la mère de Sherlock et Mycroft. J'ai cherché le nom, j'étais un peu perdu. Juste un truc. Je vais reprendre le guide à côté au cas où. Aujourd'hui, je sais pas si je vais mettre mes lunettes. J'ai pas encore réfléchi. Pour l'instant, j'en avais pas besoin. Donc c'est bon signe. Ouais, hier, on a fait des parties de Fall Guys avec FLB. C'était, en fait, ce qui est dur avec les lunettes que j'ai qui protègent de la lumière des écrans, c'est que le verre est teinté jaune. Et ouais, teinté. Et attends, est-ce que j'ai allumé mon micro? Oui, c'est bon. Et en gros, le problème principal, c'est que s'il y a déjà du jaune ou du orange à l'écran, bah ça fait bizarre en fait. Enfin bref, où en étions-nous? Ça c'était les trucs de la chambre. Ouais. Je vais recharger la page parce qu'elle a mal chargé. Hop. Tac tac, je fais ça, bim boum. Voilà. Voilà moussier. Je sais pas si c'est mon portable ou si c'est Chrome ou si c'est juste le site qui pue la merde. Toujours est-il que il fallait aller voir ce mec. On va faire un truc parce que ça je l'avais aperçu dans le guide. Non, bah on n'a pas de barbe, du coup on peut pas se faire passer pour quelqu'un d'autre. Je sais pas si ça aurait
With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
You can
une
call me your
quelconque
new game.
différence.
The rules are simple. I have something for you, but you alone must work out what that is.
And that something is my prize, I suppose?
You're a fast learner, sir.
Allons-y. Allons-y. Alors. Attends. Je vérifie que j'ai pas besoin de changer de page. Non, c'est bon, c'est sur la même page. Alors, voyons voir, mon seigneur le chevalier. Peinture rose dans les cheveux. Il y avait du pigment rose déjà à l'époque. Et crado. Trace de labeur physique. Non, parce que là, soit c'est pas hyper bien fait, soit je le vois pas du tout. Il n'est pas marié, ok. Tiens, un objet de forme carrée. C'est un marin artiste ou un artiste déguisé en marin? Un objet carré, bah c'est pas un peintre. Qu'est-ce qu'un marin pourrait avoir comme objet carré? Je ne sais pas. Je ne sais pas du tout. Qu'est-ce qu'ils nous disent? Continuez avec la main gauche et gaucher. Déduisez que c'est un artiste déguisé en marin. Mais pourquoi? Compte tenu de l'objet plat carré qui se trouve dans la poche du marin, j'ai dit qu'il y aurait été un artiste venu ici pour transmettre une invitation. Ok. Soit. Soit les mecs. Peu d'artistes connaissent mon nom ou mon adresse de résidence. Ce qui place Vogel au sommet de la liste des maîtres du jeu. Envisageable. Compte tenu de l'objet plat et carré qui se trouvait dans la poche du faux marin, j'ai déduit qu'il était en réalité un employé de la galerie d'art de Vogel, venu ici pour me transmettre une invitation.
I cannot believe that Mr. Vogel has somehow successfully called my attention to his gallery. You're here with an invitation to visit it, obviously.
My word, you are fast, Mr. Holmes. Could you explain how you came to that conclusion?
Of course. Explanations are my favorite part of any conversation. Hands without any sign of regular physical activity, in contradiction to one who would most usually wear such a uniform. The paint in your hair is pink. I don't know of any military service that paints their ships pink, unless they have launched a new fashionable fleet. A sailor with the soul of an artist? I would suggest rather a gallery employee disguised as a sailor to mislead me. How many artists on the island know where I live and of my passion for deduction? Werner Vogel is clearly at the top of the list. And you've been attempting to conceal something square-shaped within your pocket. An invitation, I suppose. An invitation to Mr. Vogel's gallery.
That was remarkable, Mr. Holmes. Mr. Vogel was right about your genius. I think he may have even underestimated you. This is your invitation. Please tell Mr. Vogel that the seed has been planted. He asked me to tell you to do so, if you win this little game. Farewell.
Ok, la graine a été plantée apparemment. Mon cher Sherlock Holmes, comme vous l'avez sans doute déjà deviné, j'aimerais vous inviter à découvrir mon exposition d'art. Cette visite, loin de se limiter à la simple contemplation de la beauté, a aussi pour but de réquisitionner votre génie. Trouvez la galerie au Caravansérail, c'est quoi? Caravansérail, situé au croisement de Bazaar Road et Hermès Avenue, dans la vieille ville. Votre ami à jamais. Vangelbaum. Vangel. Non, c'est pas Vangelbaum, ça c'est dans The Boys. Je suis fou, moi. C'est Vogel. Je suis un petit peu matrixé, moi. D'ailleurs, vendredi, dernier épisode de The Boys. J'ai prévu de le regarder avec FLB. Je sais pas si je vais avoir la foi d'enregistrer nos réactions, s'il y a des révélations de ouf. Ou juste de l'action ou des trucs incroyables. Mais ça m'aurait plu, en fait. Le seul problème, c'est que bah, je sais pas trop comment le faire. J'aurais pu enregistrer juste avec mon portable. Mais enregistrer 1 heure de vidéo, ça va être long. Et pour faire le montage, compliqué, je pense. On va changer de tenue parce que là, on n'a plus besoin, il me semble. On n'a plus besoin de... Comment on dit? Merde. De se déguiser. En quoi on va se mettre? Médecin? Médecin, on l'a jamais mis. Pourquoi pas? Ça, on avait déjà fait. Médecin de la peste, elle est pas mal. Elle est pas mal cette tenue. Ce qui est dommage, c'est au niveau du col, je trouve. Des épaules, ça peut aller, mais le col est pas ouf. Je l'aurais bien terminé par une fermeture verticale. Enfin bref. On y va de nuit? Croisement de Bazaar Road et Hermès Avenue. Dans la vieille ville. La vieille ville, c'est... Alors... Hermès Avenue et... Bazaar Road, c'est ça? Attends. Hermès Avenue... Bazaar Road. Ok, ce serait là du coup. Bah on se téléporte. Comme quoi, il y a des jours où mon cerveau est plus actif que d'autres. Bon, faut dire que là... En une semaine, j'ai fini un livre qui faisait à peu près 300 pages, 306 pages. C'était Voyage au centre de la Terre de Jules Verne. Je l'ai fumé. J'ai jamais fini un livre aussi vite, je crois. Enfin, j'en ai fini un en une journée, mais il faisait genre 60 pages. J'en ai fini, ouais, j'en ai fini des livres en une journée, mais qui étaient vraiment courts. Là, pour le coup, il faisait 300 pages en une semaine. Je trouve que ça allait. Et en plus, j'ai pas forcé. Je me suis pas dit bon. Faut que je lise au moins tant de pages par jour. C'est juste, il me semble, samedi ou vendredi, je suis allé dehors. Je me suis fait de la page 150 à je sais pas, 212, un truc comme ça. Et c'est là que ça m'a fait progresser de ouf. Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? Ah, un shopbook. Un bookshop.
A fresh newspaper? I wish you
Ça
pleasant
coûte un.
reading.
Par contre, est-ce qu'on doit vraiment acheter les journaux pour avoir un trophée?
Are you able to help me?
Mr. Fancy Clothes won't find any answers here.
Je suis pas fancy, je suis un médecin gros. C'est connu que les médecins se baladent dans la rue en blouse blanche. Regarde mon stéthoscope. Il est miniature. Au pire, ouais. Au pire, je reste en pas très bien habillé. Pour obtenir des infos que je veux. Non, toi tu vas me téléporter. Salut mec. On va redemander au gars voir si ça fait quelque chose. Au niveau de la tenue.
Are you able to help me?
I've never heard of it. I'm sorry.
Déjà la réponse est, on va dire, moins retenue, moins contenue presque. Bah c'est là en fait. On y est.
Help me, please.
I don't know, my friend. Perhaps someone else knows?
This isn't working. You might need a different tack.
Attends. Qu'est-ce que tu me dis toi? Tout ça pour ça? Galerie au croisement de bazar. Bah on y est là. C'est quoi ça? Ah mais c'est ça? Ouais c'est ce truc là en fait. Bizarre ces points de marqueur. Est-ce que genre si je suis habillé comme ça ils vont pas me laisser rentrer? Ce serait smart en vrai. Le truc qui aurait été kiffant c'est que quand j'active ça, que le rythme des aiguilles se ralentisse et que ça fasse... C'est pas grand chose mais j'aurais bien aimé. J'arrive.
Mr. Holmes, you came. Oh, how kind. Though now, of course, I realize it is because of my game, not the works on display.
It needn't be one or the other. Your man's disguise was easily debunked, Mr. Vogel, but I shall admit that you planted in me the seed of curiosity.
Ah, terrific. I had no doubt you'd put the pieces together. Let us call it an opening gambit before the real game begins.
So, this little game of yours, what's it about?
An enigma to solve. A locked area in the basement with no windows found brutally vandalized. I have no clue how it was possible.
What about this intrusion? What happened?
Last night, I was about to leave the gallery when I heard a noise downstairs. I went to the basement, but I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. It was admittedly a rudimentary inspection. It is not uncommon to get rats down there, so seeing nothing of note, I left and locked up the building. When I returned this morning, alas, I discovered that part of the exhibition had been torched, and there was no sign of the intruder. The mystery being, of course, that all the doors to the gallery were locked exactly as I left them.
And the door to the basement is the only entrance?
Correct. Tell me you're not intrigued.
And this locked area downstairs, what exactly was it?
The under gallery. It's always shut, and I'm the only one with the key.
Ah, so this is your private collection, not part of the gallery.
Oh, no. It's an exclusive exhibition of eccentric pieces. Only a select cadre of artists, investors, and collectors are admitted. Not everyone deserves to have their eyes opened.
Well, this matter is certainly within my wheelhouse.
This intrusion troubles me. Please take a look around if you're willing. The under gallery is through the door at the end.
I will see what I see.
You sure you don't like art, Sherry?
I wish I could show you the gallery under different circumstances, but life is beautiful in its unpredictability, isn't it?
Back home, we've got a taxidermist. He's gonna have a heart attack when he sees what I bring him. Back home, we've got a taxidermist. He's gonna have a heart attack when he sees what I bring him.
The left step's length is shorter than the right. It indicates that the walker was lame. Old, and hasn't been used for a long time. Closed with a metal bolt. Footprints. Size 9.5. A true artist never shows an unfinished piece.
Sherry, how about some company in that dreary chamber of yours?
Leave my loneliness unbroken, John. A handprint of the thing from another world. But it looks fresh, and its coal origin ruins the effect of the extra mundane. Sodden and mould-ridden, one presumes deliberately. The parasites of creativity, or just a reflection of the artist's recreational interests. Saturn devouring his sun. Oh, grim composition.
Unflinching in its ferocity, yet somehow beautiful.
A simplistic attempt at provocation. Coal fingerprints. I think we're looking for a man with a coal moustache. A Maupalbot. Ugh, sheer vandalism. Only an ignorant person could do such a thing. The intruder entered the basement through the coal chute. He used a magnet to open the hatch bolt. He accidentally pushed a shovel to the floor. Vogel heard the noise. At the sound of his approaching footsteps, the intruder hid inside the coffin. When Vogel entered the basement, he failed to notice anything strange and left without properly checking. The intruder waited until Vogel had left the caravanserai before burning the paintings in Wilde's room, but the vandalism was a cover for the theft. The pieces are not what I expected.
What do you think my collection is about?
Extravagant paintings have been left to rot in a basement. A commentary on decay and the crumbling of society, correct?
I don't know.
Well, that's absurd. Of course you know. It's your gallery.
There is no one answer, no singular truth, but many filtered through the subjective mind. That forgetting, embellishing, lying machine. Besides, what's wrong with a lie if it makes life more interesting?
What's wrong with a lie? It corrupts the ability of others to behave freely and rationally.
Men never act freely and rationally anyway. It matters not what is or isn't in the end. The only important thing is how you feel. And I simply want to feel and consume as much as I can. Don't you?
Feelings are simply one's animal ancestry trying to wrest back control of the brain. I try to avoid the distraction.
You try not to feel, even in a place like this? None of it moves you?
To be frank, I struggle to maintain even a whit of interest in art.
But, Mr. Holmes, it is joy incarnate, mankind's greatest achievement.
Mankind's highest achievement above all others is objective and rational thought.
I see, then, why you dislike art. for it means whatever you want it to.
Or perhaps, Mr. Vogel, I was lying.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Vogel, my investigation has revealed that the intrusion was not merely vandalism but theft. The limping visitor left your place with a canvas.
That's very impressive.
This thief was familiar with the gallery and he was sporting a limp. Do any of your clients or artists come to mind?
My, your attention to detail is remarkable, Mr. Holmes. I should introduce you to Bosch's works. Alas, I'm afraid I cannot suggest a culprit.
The fire was a clever attempt to hide a stolen painting, even if it didn't fool me. I found the remnants of an empty frame in the pile of ashes. The canvas had been removed. Do you know which paintings in the Wild Room may have interested a thief? Were any particularly expensive?
Those pieces belong to a well-known artist named Boniface Mercurio. They're controversial, but not of a notably high value.
The intruder entered the basement through the coal chute. He used a magnet to open the latch and dislodged the shovel while doing so. That's the noise you heard yesterday. When you went downstairs to investigate, he hid in the coffin.
It seems I should have checked the space more thoroughly.
There's something more, is there not? I can see it in your eyes.
Indeed. There is another intriguing angle. I recently received an anonymous offer for one of Mercurio's works. The sum was more than fair, and indeed could have saved Mercurio from his artistic poverty. But he declined it.
Was it a performative whim? Some artists lionize pain and hardship as if their work would be worse after a meal and a hot bath.
I cannot tell. But not only did he refuse the deal, he insisted on displaying the painting in the public space. I was hoping to change his mind, but artists are a special breed of stubborn.
So where can I find Boniface Mercurio?
I know he lives somewhere in Old City, but couldn't be more specific. He's a prominent figure, so finding him shouldn't be a problem.
What was depicted in the piece?
A bound woman, wrapped in robes, being penetrated by a red devil that stared at us, the viewer. The beast had numerous tails growing from his back, and a large crowd gathered around the pair, silently watching the orgiastic scene.
Okay, well, given the nature of the other works on display, it's hard to see why that one stood out. What could possibly be its value?
The evaluation of art is very subjective, Mr. Holmes. After all, art is everything. A poem, a bruise, the beads of sweat on your beloved skin. Even a masterfully solved crime.
I'm not sure I see the connection.
Regardless, the painting was one of a series called The Sabbath Night in Cordona. The works depict sex, violence, and other controversial acts that life, for better or worse, contains.
Ah, I see.
I'm not sure that you do, but that can wait for another time.
Well, I believe I have enough to begin. Thank you, Mr. Vogel. Your gallery certainly has unexpected depths.
I'm delighted to have been able to please a friend. In return, I expect you to come back with good news. Or at least with a good story.
Excuse me, just one question.
No, friend. I'm sorry. I don't know the answer.
Do you know anything about this?
Why don't you talk to your coworkers?
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
I can't help you, friend.
Can I ask you a question?
I can't help you, friend.
Help me, please.
I've never heard of it. I'm sorry.
May I ask you something?
I wish I could help you, mister, but I can't.
Is this familiar to you?
I would help you if I knew more, but perhaps others will be more helpful.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
I like you, friend, but I can't help you.
Excuse me, just one question.
I like you, friend, but I can't help you.
Mr. Holmes, I have something for... Mr. Holmes, I see what you're up to. Mysterious stranger pursues betrothed woman. But please, let us keep things professional. I have in my possession an envelope containing details of a special assignment for you. Tell me, are you interested?
I believe I am, but to be very clear, Miss Sirtle, my interest extends to the message and not the messenger.
So he claims he's not a gal sneaker, seducing women everywhere he goes. Perhaps the truth is even more scandalous?
Please spare me the speculation and return to the matter at hand.
A gang of smugglers, the Eels, have Cordona in their clammy grip. The British Empire can abide it no longer. Mycroft insists they be disbanded, but this organization only falls with the capture of their odious leader, Friedrich Panzer. And note well, I did say capture, not kill. Inside your envelope is a map marked with the Eels' warehouses. But alas, we do not know in which Friedrich Panzer resides.
So even Mycroft has his limits.
Indeed. You must be sure to identify the correct warehouse before entering, because once one is compromised, the other's occupants will scatter. Here are all the files, and feel free to use the archive too. Again, do not enter the wrong location, nor see any harm done to Friedrich Panzer.
Miss Sirtle, if you're quite done with the redundant instructions, I shall get to work.
Well, that's perfect. Tortured hero lashes out after rejected romance. Tomorrow's edition will be a sensation.
I'll be right here.
Do you know anything about this?
You and I are the economic foundation of this island. We should help each other. But I don't know what you are talking about.
May I ask for your assistance?
I wish I could help you.
Oh, I am bored. Call me when you find the answer.
Could you help me?
I have no idea why you think I could help you.
Excuse me, young man. Where do you think you're going?
Greetings, ma'am. I'm looking for the...
I don't care who you're looking for. You shall not pass. No visitors allowed.
I wish to buy a painting from Mr. Boniface Mercurio. Is he at...
Dearie, tell me, because old age has made me blind. Did someone write Information Bureau on my forehead? Because I'm not here to answer your questions. Entry is for residents only. If you aren't a resident, please leave, or I shall report you to the police.
Don't pass by. Well, let's pick something that suits you. Be careful with what you've taken. Let's pick something that suits you. Don't leave. Take one more look. Nice affordable clothes.
Don't miss out on the best carpets on the island. Merhaba. It's a good day for a purchase. Don't hurry, we can bargain.
No visitors allowed. No visitors allowed.
Don't pass by. Welcome, welcome. Let's pick something that suits you. Be careful with what you've taken.
Boniface, sweetie. Is that you? Ah, old age does terrible things to one's sight. I didn't recognize you at first.
How are you, Mum? I'm ashamed to admit that I've lost my key. Do you have a spare?
For heaven's sake! How many times will you lose that key of yours? Of course I have a spare. You artists all live in your own little world.
Please, accept my thanks.
I would rather accept your rent. You promised to pay me several weeks ago, and I'm still waiting.
I will pay you, I promise, very soon.
You'd better do, my dear. Or else I'll just change the lock. And I won't fall for those cow eyes.
Red skin, tails on the back, reminds me of Werder's description of the stolen painting. The photograph was not pulled out in time. Such a waste of material. I wonder where he got that fancy camera. It appears the wine was truly awful. Despite the overall tendency towards mess, you cannot sit with the drawer pulled out like this. Someone left it after searching. Aunt May whiskey, brandy bucks. Quite a collection he had here. The chest has been searched. The blood has dried.
I've heard of this style of painting. It is called expressionism.
Judging by post-mortem rigidity, the body lay here for 1 or 2 days. The wound is precise. It was inflicted by a razor or a knife. Soaked in blood. It seems as if the puddle of blood was here before the rags. The wound is precise. It was inflicted by a razor or a knife. Soaked in blood. It seems as if the puddle of blood was here before the rags. A normal kitchen knife. Could be the murder weapon. Mercurio was developing photographs when the intruder snuck in. Mercurio heard him coming. While the thief was searching the chest, the painter ran towards him with a bottle in his hand. He smashed it across the thief's head. The intruder had no choice but to defend himself, and the weapon of opportunity happened to be a kitchen knife. Mercurio stepped aside to grab the painting, but the wine-blinded thief attacked Mercurio's throat. When the thief came to his senses, he saw Mercurio bleeding on the floor. He grabbed the rags and tried to bandage him, but it was too late. Why did Mercurio attempt to snatch the painting in the middle of a fight? To strike the intruder? Not with his painting, it was too important to him. It's time for some chemical magic, John.
That doesn't look like the painting we need, Sherry.
As expected, but that doesn't mean it won't tell us anything. Let's put it on the I guess this is his most ordinary painting. Spot the two differences, John? If the intruder didn't take it, the skull should be somewhere here. I guess this is his most ordinary painting. Spot the two differences, John? Nothing behind it. Monster was actually a man. Poor girl. John, you ought to be thrilled. We are now hunting the devil himself.
What were you saying, Sherry? I was too busy sketching the scene, you know, crimes and such like, daily routine. Did you find something?
A photograph. It depicts a man in a red suit with tails sprouting from his back and multiple people in masks watching the scene. It all adds up. But the act of love, it wasn't given willingly, John. It was a violation. And the girl, she was with child.
Give that to me now. Did you recognize someone?
No. Although the victim is not from Cordona, she is African. Look at the ritual scars on her face.
Get that image out of your brain. You have to continue the investigation.
I must speak to the landlady. Perhaps she saw or heard something.
Sherry, you cannot tell her the truth about Mercurio. It will hurt her.
John, that's illogical. Sooner or later, she will come here and discover a corpse, and I still need to talk to her.
Just avoid mentioning corpse, all right? Stick to the character, tell her to call the police.
I'll take that into account.
And wait here. I've redrawn the people in the photograph. Now you can proceed with your investigation without those horrific details.
What's wrong, dear? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Can you tell me if anyone else has recently entered the flat?
Oh, you're talking about that limping man. I'm sorry I let him in. I was scared. And I thought maybe he would motivate you to find money so that you would pay your rent. No offense, dear.
Can you describe him?
Oh, so you weren't at home. I was so certain you didn't leave your flat that day. He was of average height, had a limp and a tattoo on his neck, and he was smoking Malpal cigarettes. My husband used to smoke those. They have a horrible smell I can recognize from a mile away.
Can I ask a favor?
Of course, dearie.
Please call the police and ask them to enter the flat. And don't look inside until they come up.
What? What trouble have you stepped in this time?
It really doesn't matter. Thank you, Mum.
You're acting so strange today, dear. I hope someday you'll let me inside that head of yours.
Phew, Sherry, that was close. But you did everything correctly. Now, take off your outfit. I can't let you walk around in a dead man's clothes.
Could you help me?
I don't want to talk to you, mister.
Don't miss out on the best carpets on the island.
Let's pick something that suits you. Be careful. What you've taken. Don't pass by. Welcome, welcome.
Is this familiar to you?
Oh, I've heard talk.
Are you able to help me?
I have no idea. I'm sorry.
Attends, j'avais pas rallumé mon micro depuis tout à l'heure. C'est pas possible. Pourquoi je l'avais coupé d'ailleurs? Pour tousser ou un truc comme ça? Bon bah j'ai dit des trucs plus ou moins intéressants, mais l'important c'est qu'on a réussi à progresser. J'arrive tout de suite. Ok, c'est bon, j'ai écouté mon message vocal. On est y pas. Ah, je suis deg un peu parce que j'ai pas dit des choses particulièrement passionnantes. Cependant, c'est le pont Victoria ça? Mais il est tout petit. Comment je vais m'y rendre? Oh, c'est le genre de truc qu'on aime pas voir. Hein. D'accord, il est là le camp. Je peux descendre par là-bas. Très bien. Hop, pardon.
Beasts!
Beasts? Non, les textures là, c'est vraiment...
Murderers!
They're completely livid. First they come to our land, then they murder our people.
Drop them all into the sea!
May I ask for your assistance?
Sorry, pal. I can't remember.
Faut garder quelle tenue là? Faut être en mode Sherlock ou pas?
Can I ask you a question? Unfortunately, my casebook is empty on this.
Ma casebook. Je me rends compte que j'ai tellement pas l'habitude qu'il y ait la caméra. Genre là, j'ai failli me replacer le caleçon devant la caméra.
May I ask you something?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Ask one of the others.
This isn't working. We might need a...
Sir, this place is off limits to the public. Please state your business or leave, or I shall request that the police escort you out.
Il pète ou quoi? J'ai l'uniforme. Qu'est-ce qu'il faut lui dire là? Camp de réfugiés. Je sais jamais vraiment où placer mon micro, c'est assez terrible. Approchez de l'homme au chapeau melon et choisissez l'une des deux options possibles sans conséquence. Oh bah s'il n'y a pas de conséquences...
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm a private investigator. I'm looking for a witness for a case.
A private investigator? Really? Even so, you're not authorized. I can't let you in.
And you are?
I'm Ronald Harlan.
Il a un problème de foi, on
Here to
dirait.
handle the refugee situation on behalf of City Hall. I'm the acting supervisor here, so I have full authority here to ask you to leave, or I shall order the police to detain you for trying to pass the blockade. Please, step back.
Step back? You tell me to step back. Puis une moustache. C'est vrai qu'il fait jeune. Très bien, trop bien habillé même. Sacrée pompe. Sédentaire. Tu n'es pas un nomade. Ah. Transpire étendu. Gratte-papier épuisé. Formaliste hébété. Vas-y, on va essayer de faire sans lire le guide. C'est un jeune fonctionnaire dépressif qui se trouve épuisé par le lot quotidien de son poste. C'est un gratte-papier alors si c'est un fonctionnaire. L'hôtel de ville lui a en effet confié la supervision du camp des réfugiés, mais la fatigue et l'indifférence le rendent incapable de résoudre des problèmes qui se manifestent. Il porte une mince moustache qui, selon lui, ajoute quelques années à son apparence. La pâleur de sa peau et les cernes qui pèsent sous ses yeux suggèrent qu'il est là du bureau, étroit et sombre qui ne quitte rarement. Bien que ses chaussures soient propres et encore quasi neuves, révèle en lui un manque d'engouement pour les activités d'extérieur. Ses paumes moites indiquent enfin que Ronald est en proie à une grande anxiété. Il aurait peut-être dû moins se couvrir, compte tenu des conditions météorologiques du jour. Alors là, aucune idée. Moi j'aurais dit que c'est un gratte-papier. Mais après tout... Qu'est-ce qu'ils disent eux? D'accord, formaliste et BT. Bah tu vois, j'aurais eu faux. Ah mais ça change tout en fait la description. D'incarner la figure d'autorité. Mais ceci lui donne plutôt un air incongru en raison de des conditions météorologiques à coordonnées. Ses paumes moites suggèrent en outre que Ronald est en proie à une grande anxiété, sans doute dû à quitter un environnement et était familier. Ok. Ok.
What about the murder that this crowd keeps shouting about?
It's mere assumption. I assure you that the situation is under the police's control.
I know you want to deal with this in the right way. You are obviously a professional and a responsible person, but you clearly have never handled a situation like this before.
I am handling it, Mr. Holmes. Don't question my capability here.
And tell me how you do it. You can't even calm this gathered crowd, and as for the police, they're not quite managing it either, are they? You consider yourself a problem solver, but until today, you've been solving problems sitting at your desk in a dark corner of a city hall room. Here, you need a more practical approach.
What are you driving at, Mr. Holmes?
I'm looking for a young refugee woman. She must be inside the camp. She's with child or was with child recently. Help me find her, and I'll help you deduce what really happened here.
You may indeed be quite a perceptive fellow, but I still don't see how you can help me here.
Just tell the police I'm with City Hall and I'm permitted to investigate the scene. I'll work out the rest. Trust me. But first, you'll find my witness.
Look, there is indeed a dead body inside the camp. So even if the girl you are looking for is there, all the refugees are now being detained and interrogated by the police. They won't allow you to speak with her, and I can't do anything about that until the situation settles down.
So it's in our mutual interest to settle it.
Oh. I suppose that things are bad enough that I ought not shy away from help. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell the police to allow you to come inside. Just tell me when you're ready.
Mr. Harlow, how did the refugees end up here exactly?
Oh, so you're not from around here yourself?
I've been away for some time, but I read the papers.
Yes, this whole story has been in the papers for almost a year now. They were smuggled to Cordona on a ship from Africa.
Smuggled? Then why didn't you deport them?
The smugglers managed to sneak them to shore and hide them inside an abandoned warehouse. When the police raided the warehouse and found the refugees there, the ship was already gone. We aren't even certain as to which ship it was. We have busy shipping routes with other colonies these days, you see.
So you decided to lock them up under a bridge?
There was no other option. We're still trying to work out what to do with them. I only hope we'll find a humane solution and not put them on a raft and float them out to sea.
C'est bien.
Mr. Harlow, what exactly do you do here? What are your responsibilities?
What I do and what I am responsible for are two different realities, Mr. Holmes. On paper, I am in charge of the camp territory, security, provision, and the refugees in general. What I actually do most of the time is knock on every City Hall door trying to obtain some funding, or at least rations for the camp.
Are the police here on City Hall's behalf too?
They are, minus those who came here after the body was found. The governor won't let the refugees disperse into the island, so there's a significant police presence guarding the camp. Naturally, they answer directly to the police. I have some influence here, but I'm not their direct authority.
I'm ready to take a look at the scene.
All right. Go inside the camp and find Inspector Tewkesbury. He's the officer investigating the scene. Tell him I sent you. Say you're an independent expert from City Hall. He'll fill in the details for you.
I'll find
La
my
lumière
way
vient de
with
s'allumer.
words. Thank you, Mr. Harlow.
La conversation a duré si longtemps. Bon, apparemment, la tenue de flicaille, on s'en bat les steakhouse. Tu sais, j'arrive comme ça. Oui, bonjour, c'est ici le camp. Petite lunette, ça rajoutait un truc, mais... J'aime bien ça en vrai. Ça lui rajoute vraiment quelque chose. Bonjour, monsieur.
Who isn't allowed to visit the crime scene these days?
So they keep these refugees under a bridge like proverbial trolls. No wonder the people outside are so disturbed.
Pauvre poule. Bonjour, monsieur.
Who the hell are you? How did you get in here?
Mr. Ronald Harlow let me in, sir. I'm Sherlock Holmes, a surveyor of refugee affairs with City Hall. You're Inspector Tewkesbury, I presume?
A surveyor? What does that even mean?
In short, I've been sent to conduct an extensive report on the incident for the Colonial Office and to assess all the damage inflicted on state property.
Got it. Another paperworm sent to count money and get food for archive mold. Go on, look around, but don't make yourself too at home. As if I didn't have enough problems before you appeared.
Could you first tell me what happened here?
What happened? People from the bridge above the camp heard a woman screaming and saw a mass of refugees attacking a man. Clearly not a refugee. When the camp guards came by, the man was floating in the sewage canal with a knife in his chest. Bam. A murder. Big news for Cordona.
I'm sure. Thank you, Inspector. And none of the refugees were harmed?
One fellow was cut. He's lying over there near their kitchen. He's in a bad way.
You mentioned a woman screaming who attracted the bypassers on the bridge. Was she harmed?
No, she's all right, but perhaps the whole debacle started because of her. She started wailing and the refugees stood up for the girl.
And where is this young woman now?
Back there in the shacks, same as the rest of the refugees. She's been questioned by my men, but she's just some refugee girl. Can't understand much English.
Did you learn anything about the dead man?
The fellow looks like a thug. I've had dozens like him fished out of the sea over the past 20 years. Ever since these refugees arrived, there have been people on Cordona with bad blood in them. My best bet is that this thug had something against them too.
And no clue as to his identity?
He had some items on his body, but nothing to indicate who he was or where he was from.
I think I should catalogue his possessions in my records.
Go on. They're on the table near the body.
Do you have any suspects yet?
You're joking, right? I've got a whole camp full of suspects. And if you ask me, this bloke had it coming. Better bury him and forget about the whole thing. And now there's a crowd gathered at the camp, and my superiors say we must thoroughly interrogate the refugees. At least those who can understand any English.
Do you believe that your superiors wish to get rid of the refugees?
I think that both our superiors would rather keep the story quiet. Since that's an unaffordable luxury now, they're looking how to protect their public image. That's why I have to waste my time waiting for my people to turn every stone and befriend every refugee.
Il fait pas grand chose, quoi.
Here we go again. Number of hours on Cordona before stumbling upon another dead body? 0.
Coal dust under the nails. I don't see much coal around here. A steel dirk. Sharp. A common accessory among sailors and soldiers. An interesting tattoo. Does it mean something?
Je sais pas.
An interesting tattoo. Does it
Je
mean
suis au
something?
niveau de ses yeux, je suis pas en train de regarder son tatouage, frère.
I'd say the blade penetrated upward, however the wound is too messy to be certain.
Rien sur les mains.
Heavy boots, with one sole far more worn than the other. This man was limping, John. A violent death. This man, limping. Coal dust. I think we're onto something here, John.
If they find out about the passage, everything.
Ah, excusez. J'étais un peu trop proche. Merde, j'ai raté. Ou j'ai réussi.
If they find out about
Non, j'ai raté. Bas salaire, vieux limier, confinement du camp, regard du public, hystérie, emporter les réfugiés. Merde, c'est quoi? Est-ce que ce serait pas pour l'argent?
If they find out about the passage, everything will go to hell. If they find out about the passage, everything will go to hell. If they find out about the passage, everything will go to hell.
Ouais, on a compris, mon gros.
If they find out about the passage, everything will go to hell.
Il est chiant. Ok, je vais réessayer. Est-ce que ce serait bas salaire? Non. Non, ok, bah déjà c'est pas ça. Donc je pense que c'est argent. Les policiers redoutent la mise en place d'un périmètre de sécurité strict autour du camp après la découverte du mort, qui pourrait avoir un impact sur l'argent qu'ils gagnaient jusqu'alors grâce à leurs opérations.
Nobody will know anything if you keep your bloody mouth shut.
The coppers smell fishy here, Sherry. Perhaps we should sniff around in the camp a little more thoroughly.
Tu m'étonnes.
Sherry, just look at this. Living quarters in a sewer. What kind of a genius bureaucrat came up with this idea? We have seen some dark places in Cordona, but this...
Est-ce qu'on peut retourner voir l'inspecteur? Ce mec-là, je pense pas qu'il le sera. Merde.
You still here? Your problem, not mine. Your problem, not mine. Go bother someone else with this, son. I've already told you all I've learned. Your problem, not mine. Go bother someone else with this, son.
I'll just look around and do my paperwork. You won't even notice.
On va regarder ce qu'il y a autour, parce qu'apparemment ce con ne veut pas communiquer avec nous.
Clearly a left handprint here. A blood trail leading to or from the canal. A furrow in the ground. Someone bled profusely here. A fresh crack, as if the crate was hit recently. £1,000. A fair sum, especially considering British currency isn't very common in Cordona.
Ah, c'est des malpales.
Malpal, soaked with salt water.
Donc ils sortaient de l'eau.
A simple leather sheath. Perfect for a dirk.
A dirk. Perfect for a dirk. Salut mon pote.
Can I ask you a question?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
Are you able to help me?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
This isn't working. You might need a different tack.
Are you able to help me?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
Et là, peut-être que ça aura un truc, un impact d'être en policier.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh, I don't know about that. Ask one of the others.
This isn't working. You might need a different tack.
Je sais, mais...
These events have fractured into so many pieces. But I know you can collect them all, Sherlock.
A man's footprint. A heavy boot with a worn-out sole. Police boots. Always happy to trample evidence. The cut is deep, potentially serious if not treated immediately. He is in shock, feverish and dehydrated.
Sherry, you know first aid. Surely you have a duty to help this man. You can't leave him to certain death.
Alors on fait quoi? Je dois me concentrer pour trouver quelque chose, pour nettoyer sa plaie, pour le désinfecter et bander ses blessures.
Oh, carnelian agate beads, a traditional African adornment. Someone was dragged against their will.
The refugees have been detained and will not leave until all the circumstances are clarified.
Regardez là-dedans.
No one deserves to end up in a place like this.
May I ask you something?
Unfortunately, my casebook is empty on this.
Comment on va trouver de quoi l'aider?
I'll use it to create a solution.
Peut-être des trucs intéressants là. Non. Pas grand chose, il semble rien. Ce que je vous dis est suffisant. Propre. Ok, on va lui donner à boire. C'est ça.
May I ask you something?
Oh, I don't know about that. Ask one of the others.
Non, apparemment il faut faire une solution. Ah, du linge propre.
Just wash. Better than nothing to bandage the wound.
C'est sûr. Et enfin, pour nettoyer ses plaies. De l'alcool. Ah non, c'est quoi?
I'm afraid these leaves can only be added to tea.
Ah, on va lui faire un thé. C'est ça? Non. Ça c'est quoi? Aloe vera. Ouais, j'ai reconnu les feuilles en vrai.
This to stop the infection from spreading. Nausea and stomach pain is not what he needs now.
Ouais, tu m'étonnes. Rien d'autre ici.
I've collected all the ingredients now to prepare the first aid solution.
Ok. Tac, ça va être un truc encore hyper compliqué. En fait, les premiers, ils étaient simples. Il y avait genre 3-4 éléments réactifs disponibles. Mais là, il y en a trop. Et puis, c'est pas très bien expliqué, en fait, je trouve.
Thank you.
This should make you feel better, my friend. Now, remain lying down and drink as much water as you can.
Well done, Sherry. At least he won't die from the infection.
Et on peut te poser des questions.
Done, Sherry. At least he won't die from the
Ah, ne m'appelez Sherry, s'il te plaît. Pas grand chose à fouiller là.
Back off. Back off. Back off. Back off.
Jean-Pierre.
Back off.
Non, c'est Jean-Pierre Coff, c'est pas Jean-Pierre Bacoff. Ah là là, la blague de malade. Truc de malade. Ok, maintenant on va te poser des questions, toi. Hein.
You still here? Your problem, not mine.
The guards at the sewers were speaking about taking refugees out of the camp. Do you know anything about this, Inspector?
Less than you do, obviously.
And this doesn't bother you as an officer of the law?
I can neither punish them nor put them on the right track, if that's what you're asking. Maybe your friends at City Hall could do something about it, but I seriously doubt that. To be honest, I'm sick and tired of being frowned on for my uniform. If those fine gentlemen you've eavesdropped on are in some shady business, that's on their heads. I'm busy. Don't you have papers to fill? City Hall lubberheads.
Ok, qu'est-ce qu'on fait maintenant? Camp de réfugiés, ouais, j'ai pas tout fouillé. L'inspecteur affirme qu'il n'a aucune idée d'opération douteuse, n'a pas été surpris d'entendre que ses collègues pouvaient être impliqués dans telle manigance. J'ai l'impression qu'on a tout trouvé en fait.
Back off.
Je vois pas d'autres trucs à, à inspecter.
Do you know anything about this?
Oh, I don't know about that. Ask one of the others.
May I ask you something?
Oh, I don't know about that. Ask one of the others.
Everyone's looking at us, Sheriff. You sure you know what you're doing?
Bah non, pas tellement.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Oh, I don't know about that. Ask one of the others.
Ok. C'est l'heure de sortir le guide. Niveau du numéro 5 et approchez-vous du réfugié blessé. Ok. Méthode d'intrusion. On l'a ça? Je suis pas sûr qu'on l'ait. Comment ils ont fait ça? C'est réactiver épingler maintenant la preuve. Méthode d'intrusion. Quoi? J'ai dû rater quelque chose encore.
Clearly a left handprint here.
On l'a pas vu ça? Si, ça on l'a vu. Ça c'était les perles de cornaline. Ben là je vois pas trop quoi faire. On peut même pas interroger le blessé. Non. J'ai l'impression qu'il y a quelque chose dans cette zone. Tu vois, genre là, je suis pas mal. Est-ce que on se mettrait pas comme ça pour lui parler? Non. C'est ici qu'il y a quelque chose, hein. Mais quoi? Alors ça... Oh, il est 14h50, j'ai plus que moins de 10 minutes. On verra avec ces 3 éléments de l'analyse chimique. Sauver la vie, compléter... Bah, ça a sauté la ligne. Sauver et compléter la même occasion de défi de jeune. Épingler la preuve... Près de la berge. Je l'ai pas moi cet indice là. Comment on l'obtient? Attends. Vox Populi, non c'est pas ça. Attends, il y a le corps, la dague et les cigarettes, empreintes dans le sable. Oui, on l'a vu, l'empreinte dans le sable. Ensuite, le bracelet de perles. Tache de sang, le bout de bois. On l'a vu ça? On l'a vu pourtant. Ah non.
The blood sprayed off the blade after the strike. No hint of blood or impact. It might have been used as an improvised weapon. You know what? I'd like to understand.
What?
How did our dead man end up inside the camp in the first place?
There you go. Bob, 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 wow. Ok, et là du coup on va vers la rive. Mais oui. Non? Ça? Ce serait par où? Par là? Oui. C'était juste derrière moi en fait, je suis trop bête. Hein. Peu probable.
It's unlikely anyone could get in or out of the camp by water without alerting the police guards.
Bon, lui va m'envoyer chier clairement. Alors quoi? Maintenant que j'ai fait ça. Allez derrière l'inspecteur de police et noter l'échelle. Hein? J'ai pas eu d'échelle moi. Celui-là?
Back off.
Apparemment il y a un inspecteur qui a une échelle derrière lui. C'est dur de voir parce que vu qu'il n'y a pas les inspecteurs tout le temps. Ah celle-là, putain, je suis trop bête, ouais.
No, it's too short for these walls or cliffs.
D'accord. Ensuite sur les réseau d'égout pour les emporter réfugiés. Cette information débloque un nouveau défi de jeu. Occuperons après. Utilisons donc la concentration sur la lourde grille. Ok. Bon, on passe par là.
Sealed shut. I doubt our man could get through these grates.
Entrée du camp en inspectant les mégots de cigarettes par terre. Oh la vache, mais on va jamais s'en sortir. Enfin, j'ai pas le temps. Je pense qu'on va devoir s'arrêter ici. Je vais sauvegarder. Puis on va s'arrêter. Non, j'ai envie de faire un truc avant. Est-ce qu'on n'a pas des trucs dans le palais mental? Charbon sous les ongles. Ouais, ça déjà c'est sûr. L'homme mort au camp est réfugié. Réflexion. Ok. Meurtrier de Mercury et le voleur de la galerie ne sont qu'une seule et même personne. L'intention du visiteur est peut-être de retrouver l'ignoble photographie. Le voleur s'est rendu chez Mercury pour y dérober la photographie en vain et a tué le peintre en légitime défense. Ok. Bah là pour le coup on va sauvegarder parce qu'on a pas mal avancé. Puis on va s'arrêter ici, j'espère que ça t'aura plu, on se retrouve pour la prochaine fois pour la suite. Ciao!